We're live. Okay. All right. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I can see two people here already. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, you can tell us where you're watching us, where you're joining us from, and why we will wait for a few minutes before we get started. Okay. Yeah, people are joining. I'm just gonna wait for two more people, then we get started. Yeah, I'll just one more, and we will get started. Mm-hmm. If you guys can hear me, thank you. Thank you for thank you. I like that. That was what I was about to say. That if you're here, you can just say something in the comment section. Hi, hello, what's up? How are you? Probably your name if you don't mind sharing. Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you, Kule. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's just get started. I'm just gonna put my phone and do not disturb. Once again, you're all welcome to today's section, wherever you guys are watching us from. It's my pleasure to have you guys here today. As you guys all know, the way we always do this is a session where we talk about scholarship opportunities, bringing prospective scholars that have gone through this process to come share their experience and give us a lot of insight and a lot of inspiration about how the application process go, like the whole thing about the application process. So I welcome you all to today's session. Yes, and today's section we will be talking about the Erasmus scholarship, and we have a special guest here, an experienced scholar, someone who has been through the whole process and he knows it. Like he has a channel where he also share a lot of information with prospective people that want to go through the same route that he has been through. So I always tell people it's experience is the best teacher. So it's good to learn from people that has gone through the whole process. And just so you guys know, there will be like question and answer today. After we would give room for question and answer after our guest is done speaking to her. So please stay tuned, and I would also appreciate if you can as well share this link with your friends. Probably post it on your group chat. Let people benefit from this section because I can tell you, like, there will be a lot of insights. You're gonna get a lot of your time will not be wasted, I can assure you. So once again, for those that are just joining, my name is Olamide Messi, and you are all welcome. So without wasting much of our time, I'm going to go ahead and bring our scholar to the stage. Scholar Taufik. Yeah.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please, if you don't, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, I'm good. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you for being here despite your busy schedule and everything. I'm really, really grateful. So to everybody watching you, including me, please will you like to introduce yourself to us? Of course, everybody knows we know. Oh, not everybody. We I told them already that you are a past recipient of Erasmus scholarship, but we would like to know you more, sir.
Oh, okay. My name is Tofik. So, I had my bachelor's from Nigeria from the University of Ilorin Biomedical Engineering. So, in
Wow.
2022, I won the Erasmus Mundus scholarship for medical imaging and application. So, from 2022 to 2024, I was on the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So, um, as the Erasmus works, so it's mobility based, right? So my first semester was in France, my second semester was in Italy, my third semester was in Spain. My master thesis was in the United States, actually at Duke University. So it's possible for you to move out of Europe for your thesis. And then now I'm doing my PhD under the joint PhD program between Georgia Tech and Emory here in Atlanta. And yeah, I think that's pretty much like me. As we go on, if you want to know anything, I will answer it for sure.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction. It's good to know that we both went to the same university. I also finished from University of Ilorin. So, what year did you graduate? Like, what year
Um,
did you?
yeah, I finished 2021.
Me too. Wow, interesting. I never knew
Which,
that.
yeah, which course did you study?
Mathematics, mathematics.
Oh, that
Yeah,
means you okay. I think just you are Joseph set, yeah. Joseph,
Joseph Adela.
yeah.
Yeah.
I I know that we were in the same university in Erasmus when I was in Spain.
Yeah, scholar. Yeah, he's
Uh,
an Erasmus scholar too.
yeah,
Interesting.
and
Wow.
also Ibrahim too. He's in Saudi Arabia. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
from
Nice, nice. Thank you so much.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, you mentioned something about Erasmus. You did your thesis in the US while on Erasmus scholarship.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit complicated, right? So Erasmus has a rule that you can only spend 3 months outside of Europe. So
Okay,
if you spend more than 3 months outside of Europe, then you will not be paid your stipend anymore. So for me, I already knew that after 3 months in US, they will stop my stipend. But that's why, but like the offer I had in US for my thesis were also paying me, so I didn't really bother about it. So yeah.
okay, interesting. So yes, we are ready for you, Sarah. We would like to know so much about the application process, the Erasmus scholarship. So I know you have got something to share with us before we start asking you questions. So I would give you the room to go ahead and share with us what you've got for us this morning, too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me try that. Uh, can you see my screen? I mean, it's on another one. You
Okay.
can see it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We can see.
Oh, okay, great. So, I mean, it's just a short presentation. So, basically, I won't go extremely in depth in this. It's just for you to know how the Erasmus Mundus scholarship work and how you can apply. So, just like I always tell people, once you start applying for scholarship, just start packing your bag. So, if you are ready to put in the hard work, definitely you get a scholarship. So that's basically and take it from me from experience. Hard work is very important. So yeah, if you want to apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, unlike other master scholarship, there are three things that are very important. That's like your interest, your undergraduate background, and your skill set. So because the way the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is structured, it is more of research. Sorry, not research. It is very specific, so to say. So which means you won't, if you study, let's take for example mathematics, you won't be expecting to see masters in mathematics, right? So
Yeah.
but you could see maybe masters in differential equation or something. Like it's very specific to an area. So you knowing the area you're interested in is very important when you apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, and applying to the area that best suit your interests, because a lot of people are applying, but it's not centralized like Chevening scholarship where everybody are reviewed together. The program you're applying to, that's where you are competing. So which means if I apply for Erasmus scholarship, I also apply for Erasmus scholarship, but we both apply for different program, we are not competing against each other. Basically, that's what it means. So selecting the program that suit your background is very important, as you'll be competing with people with similar background, right? So that being said, if you want to apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, this is something most of us already know. You have to go through the catalog. So the catalog basically has, is the slide moving at all?
No.
That's, hold on, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I I think I know why it's probably not moving. So could you add my other like name on the live? Like I joined with two accounts, right?
Okay.
Is it possible to bring it on?
Yeah, you have to share that. Is it
Yeah,
this?
okay, share it. Okay, it's okay. I'll just go this way. It's okay. Yeah. So just pack your things. Yeah, so it's okay. I'll go like this. So you cannot see it, right? So
We can.
now so if you want to apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, so we have the Erasmus Mundus catalog. So this catalog basically, normally I would have showed it since, but I mean you can explore it. I'll just explain it to you. If you can just go to Google and type the Erasmus Mundus catalog. So inside this catalog, you are going to see list of all the programs available for you to apply. Inside this program, you can filter it based on your research interest. If you are interested in mathematics, if it's engineering, then you can now see the list of courses available for engineering, for example. Then you can further select the course you want to apply to, depending on you. So if you're applying for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, there are several documents that you need, but basically all the programs you'll be applying to will require this basic document. Some might require additional, but most of them, these are all you need to apply for the scholarship, right? So one of the documents is your international passport. Every scholarship you have to use it. Then your certificate and transcript. If you're in your final year, you can apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship because I applied while I was in my final year. I was rejected, then I apply again. So you can apply in your final year. So for your certificate, you just need a letter from your school to state that you are currently in your final year and you'll be graduating as a particular date. That was how I did mine. Then your transcript, you just need your result from your first year to the current year you are. All your available result basically, and that's good. Then we have the Europa CV. So when you apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, you don't just use any form of CV, right? So you have to use what we call the Europa CV. You can simply just type it on Google, Europa CV, and then it's going to take you to the link where you can build your own Europa CV. At the same time, what I also usually tell people is managing the Europass website is usually a bit difficult. So once you use it and you have a first draft, you can convert that draft to Word and manually arrange it by yourself. Or you could use, if you have the CV format of a previously Erasmus Mundus scholar, you could convert it to Word and then you edit it by yourself. It's still the same thing and it will be more arranged, right? So that's the advice I normally give people. Then you have your letter of motivation. So your letter of motivation is just the letter that shows is and basically an essay, just like your statement of purpose if you're applying to US and some other scholarship, right? So here what they are expecting you to show is you have to tell them your past, your present, which is what you are currently doing, and then your career goal, right? Your future objective, and how will the program help you achieve it. Erasmus is a program that it is professional based as much as it is research based. That is, if you want to go into industry, it's a perfect master for you. If you still want to go into academia, that is, if you want to do your PhD, I mean, doing PhD doesn't mean you have to go into academia. But yeah, if you want to go directly into the industry after your masters, you can still do Erasmus scholarship. If you want to go for a PhD, you can still do it, right? So just make sure you convey in clear term. I mean, if you have specific question on this, I'll always be glad to answer it. Then you have letter of recommendation. Some program requires you to submit the letter of recommendation by yourself. So which means your lecturer or your manager where you work will probably give you the letter and then you upload it while you're applying. While some will require you to put the email of the recommender and then they'll send the email to the recommender to upload it. So however it is, just read the program to understand better. If your program requires you to put the email of the recommender, put it early enough so that they can get the message early and you can go ahead and submit your application, right? Then we have certificate of resident. since I can't upload the actual slide, so normally I provided a link to show a template. Maybe during the question and answer session, I'll probably re-upload them in PDF format so that I can show you guys if somebody want to see it. So certificate of residence is usually a document that people find confusing, especially from Nigeria. So it's just a document that shows where you live. So the most important features of your certificate of residence is that it must show your address, your house address. That's very important. So because a lot of people usually ask, can I use my state of origin? You cannot use that. You have to use a document that clearly state that, okay, this is your address. Sometimes some program allow you to use affidavit from the court where you do like an attestation, but not all programs. So if that's what you have, you should message your program to be sure that they will they will accept it, right? So I think those in Lagos from Nigeria, there's this popular document, LASRA or something. It's not usually accepted by most programs as well. So if that's what you have, you should be sure to ask. The best place to get this certificate of residence are mainly two places, either from your workplace or from your local government. I got mine from my local government area. I went there, I told them that I need certificate of residence. They never heard about it before. I told them, okay, this is how it looks like, a document that shows my address, and they come up with it for me on their letterheaded paper. They stamp it and sign it, and that was what I use. So even if your local government don't have, you can talk to them what you want, and they could probably come up with something for you. Then we have the English proficiency certificate. So basically, this is just to attest that you are proficient in English. So most of the Erasmus Mundus program allow you to take a letter of English proficiency from your undergraduate university, even if you don't have TOEFL or IELTS. However, some program will not allow you to do that, and it's purely based on your country of origin. If you are from the United States, from Canada, from UK, for sure you don't need the proof. But if you are from Nigeria, some program you might need to show proof. So you have to see if you have it, and then that also decide which program you want to apply to. Because if you don't have the English test and the program you are interested in require you to apply for it, you either take it or choose another program, right? And you can apply to as many program as you want. Then finally, um, if you get the scholarship, um, your travel expense will not be covered by the scholarship. So you have to know this. So before now, Erasmus usually cover your travel expense. So what it means is when you resume, they reimburse you everything that you spend, right? I think before now they usually pay 4,000 euros for travel expense, which is more than enough. However, now they stop paying because they increased the stipend. Initially, when I did Erasmus, the stipend was 1,000 euro, but right now the stipend is now 1,400 euros. So, and that's more than enough actually. So basically, you have to cater the cost of your finance traveling. So, and Erasmus is not like it's to Europe, right? So for depending on the country of your program, you might be going to France from Nigeria or wherever you are coming from, or you might be going to Italy, Spain, UK, depending on the program, right? So each country has its own finance. But yeah, at the end, however you choose to get there, the stipend is more than enough for you to live fine and live a comfortable life while studying. So yeah, I think that's like a basic overview of Erasmus. And if you have specific question, I'll be glad to answer it for sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Before I give room for question and answer, thank you. That was a wonderful overview of the Erasmus scholarship. You guys, if you have any questions, please drop your question. But before I come to that, I personally, oh, thank you for this. He who fails to plan has planned to fail. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Thank you. Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, so before people ask questions, I myself I have some questions for you. So like talking about this Erasmus scholarship, I know you mentioned that there's a catalog whereby we can check for schools and course, sorry, and to apply. But I want to ask, do you think this is majorly for STEM or non-STEM or both?
Oh, I mean, the Erasmus scholarship is for everybody, right? So currently we have about 209 programs. So
Wow.
the program are from different specialty. So if you study law, if you study education, humanity, I have a friend that finished from adult education from University of Ilori. He did an Erasmus program. He's also done. I have a friend that finished from law from Nigeria. He also did an Erasmus program. I have a friend that studied political science. He also did an Erasmus program. He's done. So it covers basically all field. So it just some field has more courses than the other. So like if you are from biological science or engineering or physical sciences, you probably have or computer science, for example, you have more courses available. But however, if you are from other places, you still have a lot of courses also available. So for you to apply, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So for those of us that we are watching, it is for everybody, both STEM and non-STEM. So check out the catalog. You just mentioned that we have over 209 programs available. So check the catalog, and the link is that one I pasted. Then the next question I also have for you. So what about application fee? Did you get to pay any application fee for this application?
Oh, okay. I mean, for me, when while I was applying, I didn't pay any application fee. So application for Erasmus is basically free of charge.
Great.
But in the past, I had that there is like maybe one particular program that usually require you to pay an application fee to submit. But right now, I'm not even sure the program is still on because how Erasmus work is every year we get new program, and
Uh,
at times some program that were funded before they usually fund program for a particular duration. Most of the time, I think for 4 years. So once that 4 year reach, the program you have to apply for funding again. So sometimes they stop the funding, sometimes they continue. So new program keep entering as well. So then that program that usually require application fee, I don't think is still on. So it's safe to say right now, any program you probably be applying for, you don't have to pay any application fee. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So no application fee. I am asking because so many times people are like, "Oh, there is no money. There is no. They don't have money. They don't." Have. So we would say like, when you were applying, did you spend any like what is the cost? So if somebody wants to apply for this scholarship now, how much should they budget for the scholarship application prior to them getting the offer?
You mean
How
for the first
Yeah.
scholarship?
Since you're not paying application fee, are you paying for anything else?
I mean, you don't have to pay for anything, right? I
Very
mean,
good.
the truth is that sometimes getting applying for scholarship sometimes it requires money, right? So if you are applying for a program that require you as Nigerian to submit an English test and doesn't accept the proficiency letter from your undergraduate university, you might choose to say you want to write TOEFL. That will cost you, right? Or IELTS. But aside from that, you always see a program that you can apply to that you won't even have to pay anything as far as Erasmus is concerned.
Okay, very good, very good. So
Yeah.
thank you. I just want to point this out to everybody watching us. You do not need to pay for anything. So there is no excuse of you saying probably you are being there is this financial burden or constraints that you cannot apply for this scholarship. So go ahead, check out for your program and apply. South Taufik, I would also like to ask you said so did you use right tofu prior to you applying for this scholarship?
You mean Erasmus? No.
Okay, so
I
you
mean,
did.
yeah, my program allowed letter of English proficiency from your university, right? So I wanted to display the letter earlier. So I collected a letter from Unilori that stated that the medium of instruction was in English, and basically that was what I used. I want to ask you, can you add my other account on the live?
Oh yeah,
Like
you're live. Yeah, you're live. You
yeah,
can you can
like
share.
do you get like there's another name Tofik on the chat?
Okay, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, okay. The reason is so that I can use it to share my screen if I want to. I think to explain some things. So I
Okay,
think that okay.
all right.
Okay, yeah. Uh, I could show you so yeah, you can ask your question for sure.
Okay. So what I was saying is, so you did not need to like you did not apply with TOEFL. You just used the letter of proficiency to apply, and you got the scholarship, right?
Yes.
Okay, very, very good. This is another thing to point out. You don't need TOEFL. So, but will you say it's all programs that do not require TOEFL or just your program?
No, I mean all virtually not all program. There are some program you have to write an English test, right? But let's say about 80% of the program as Nigerian you will not need. So it's country based, right? So if your country, if your undergraduate is in English speaking, about 80% of the program you might not have to apply need English test. However, some program we specifically said if you are not a citizen of US, UK, Canada, New Zealand, and the like, just few of the countries, you have to submit an English test. So if you're applying for such program, then for sure you have to submit. So you generally have to check the requirement of the program.
Okay, very good. Okay, all right, all right. So I get that. Now I'm going to ask this question. So I understand how our Erasmus does work. Would you like to also share with us, maybe tell the viewers some of the benefit of this scholarship? Aside, or probably you just like give us just give us the
Yeah,
benefit of the program. I know you mentioned some already. Maybe you can just go through them again.
yeah, it's okay. I think, I mean, for me personally, I feel like Erasmus Mundus scholarship is one of the best scholarship in the world because it gives you like the opportunity it gives you. Most scholars don't have that kind of opportunity, right? Because when I finished my master program, I got 3 master degree. So, and that's something that you hardly see.
Master's degree.
Yeah, scholarship will give you. So, because basically I was enrolled in 3 universities, right? So, my first semester was in France. So, when I was doing my second semester in Italy, my school in France is assuming I am just a student doing a semester abroad, right? So I'm still a student in that school. So the same thing. So every time I spend in another school, the other 2 schools are assuming that I'm just a student studying abroad and I'm still registered in the school. So whatever course I take there, I took in those other school, they still bring it back to their school to still give me a master degree, right? So at the end, I end up having 3 master degree from 3 different universities. And Erasmus will make you travel a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money anyway. You have to spend a lot of money, but I mean,
All
they are
right,
still,
funded. You're not being funded.
yeah, they are giving you the money, right? So you still, it's just for you to spend it that way. So you travel. Like for me, I mean, I spent my life in Nigeria and I never travel outside Nigeria. But the last 2 years that I studied Erasmus, I traveled to more than 10 different countries, which is something
Wow.
that's very good personally. So yeah, and also the good thing about the scholarship is because you have a Schengen visa, right? So you don't need Erasmus related stuff to travel. You can easily travel to any country within Europe that you want because you don't have to apply for visa to do it. And it's so easy to travel within the country. So yeah, that's another advantage. And the fact that it's fully funded, they give you stipend to cover virtually everything. It's also good. So yeah, the experience in general is good because you tend to study in different universities. Most of the scholarship you see, you are just in one university all throughout your time. But this one, you tend to actually experience
Yeah.
university in different countries, which is something very good. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's good. That's interesting to know. I think I've heard that before, and yeah, you just confirmed that. So, like the same master's degree in the same program from different university, or different master's degree from
Yeah.
different university.
So it's actually different master degree. So it depends on the program. So let's get this straight. So some Erasmus program will not give you different master degree. They'll give you a joint master that is jointly signed by each of the institution. So why some will give you different master degrees. So it depends on the program. So for my program, the specialization is very important. So when I was the courses I took in France, they are mainly related to computer vision and robotics. So the certificate I got is in that area. Then when I was in Italy, it's mainly related to information and computer engineering. So the certificate I got in that area. Then in when I was in Spain, it was mainly related to medical imaging and computing. So the certificate is also in that area. So yeah, and then there's like so the my semester there's what we call the host institution. That is the institution that is actually like the host itself that got the funding that involve other institutions. So for me, it was the university in Spain. So the certificate I got from Spain is like a joint certificate. So it is stamped by the three university. But the certificate I got from the other two is a separate certificate that's peculiar to them alone. So yeah.
Oh, very good. Interesting. That's good to know. All right. So let's talk about this stipend of a thing. You said during your own time you've been paid €1,000 and now it's like 1,004. Do you think that is enough to cater for your living expenses? Are you being paid like do they give you accommodation or you have to pay for yourself or like you pay out of
Uh,
your stipend? And when you mean stipend, do you mean monthly stipend or bi-weekly?
Oh, okay. I mean, it's a monthly stipend, of course.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's the only money they are giving you, the 1,400. So they generally expect you to cater for your accommodation from there and your living expense. So, don't get it wrong. Depending on where you are in Europe, Europe could be very cheap compared to the United States. So, it generally depends on the country you are, but most of the Erasmus based country, they are very, very affordable, such that at the end, that 1,400 euro in a month, you probably not be able to spend half of it. So it also depends on your spending habit anyway. But if you are in a country or a city that is very expensive, let's take for example your mobility is in a place like maybe Paris, or it's in Barcelona, Madrid, or it's in Rome, then your expense might be a bit expensive, but whatever it is, it's more than enough for you to have more. I mean, I survived with 1,000 euro and I still traveled a lot, like right. So just imagine if it's 1,400. So for sure you still have a lot. So I think basically what people should understand about scholarship is not to get you rich.
Mm-hmm.
You will not also have you will not wake up and be saying, or if you wake up and you don't have something to eat, it's probably because you don't know what to eat. It's not because you don't have money. So this is just it. You have enough to take care of yourself, and probably, I mean, sorry to say, like a typical Nigerian, probably send home. But at the same time, you it's not to get you rich, right? So don't convert this money, especially if you're Nigerian, to naira and be like, oh, I'm getting over 2 million every month, because you are not spending it in Nigeria, you're spending it there. So yeah, but for sure you will not be broke, but at the same time, it's not for to get you like rich. So don't see it as if you're earning 2 million naira plus in Nigeria. In Nigeria, it's two different levels. So yeah.
Oh, very good. Thank you for that question. So I want to ask the question about this Schengen visa of a thing. I think I understand that when going for Europe visa, you don't need to go for an interview. So is it that when you get your visa, you are being given the Schengen visa immediately, or you have to apply? Like, let's say you get your admission and you want to process your visa application. Did you get the Schengen visa immediately?
Yeah, I mean, so the Schengen visa is this, right? So like it's all the countries in the Schengen area, what they give you when you apply for visa is generally the Schengen visa. So the only difference is all their visa looks the same. The only difference is just mainly the heading, that they will change the name. If it's France that is giving you, you see France. If it's Spain that is giving you, you see Spain. But what actually make it the actual Schengen is when you move in there, and then if you like the Schengen, once you get the visa, basically, it's generally, even if it's a 1 year Schengen visa, it's generally for like, you can only use it to go to every country that you Schengen area within 3 months. So, but if you plan to spend more than 3 months, just like we Erasmus, so when you get there, there's what we call verification, right? So you just have to apply for the verification stuff, and then it becomes you can use it wherever. But generally, you get that visa called Schengen, so it's similar regardless of which country, apart from just the name of the country. So it's a similar.
Okay. So if I get you right, so when you get your visa for the first time, it's just the visa to the country that you are going to first, right?
No, it's still the same Schengen visa, right? So you can use it to go
When you
to that
get your admission of your visa, it is the oh, that's very good.
Schengen visa. But I mean, if there is something you need to do when you get there, but it's still the same visa, basically, yeah.
Oh, that's a very good opportunity. Then you can, because I know that the Schengen visa you can use it to travel across Europe countries. Oh, good to know that. Thank you. Yeah. So now thank you for answering. If you guys have any questions, please ask your questions in the comment section, and please stay tuned. Don't go yet. We still have a lot of information to share. I still have some questions for our guests. Okay, so talking about this Erasmus scholarship of 18. If you are to talk about somebody being standing out, like what makes someone a candidate, a strong candidate for this scholarship, what would you say they look into? What would you um like what do you think they look at in our application, in student application? Is it the statement of purpose? Is it the academic excellence? Is it what do you think can make an application stand out?
Okay. So I think basically for the if you're applying for the Erasmus scholarship, there are certain things you have to look like I said earlier, it is very skill specific. Like it's program specific, right? So
Yeah.
you won't say, oh, I because I study mathematics, I'm going to look for a master in mathematics. You will not see that, right? So if you're applying to, like for me back then, I was applying for masters in medical imaging and application.
And what
So
was your background?
biomedical engineering. So
Okay.
medical imaging is an aspect, it's an area of specialization in biomedical engineering. But you could study biomedical engineering and not have experience in medical imaging.
Okay.
So, so like my undergraduate university, for example, we don't have the option of medical imaging. So we only have the option for tissue engineering and instrumentation, if I'm not mistaken. So I have to like learn stuff by myself. So I took a lot of online courses to start with because it was during COVID period. So
Okay.
during COVID period, I was already my final year, but COVID happened. So we stayed at home for like 1 year. So
Yeah.
it's all about your motivation, know what you want and go for it. So for me back then, Uniloi completely closed the school. So they
Yeah.
asked students to go home if you are staying on school campus. So, but I mean, I was staying in staff quarters, so I did not go home. So throughout the 1 year of COVID, I was staying in school because I knew if I should go home, I'll probably have problem with getting data to take online courses. If you are from Nigeria, you understand. So basically, because of that, I prefer to stay on campus where we have the Unilori Wi-Fi that I could use to take courses from Coursera. So I took a lot of courses. At the end, I took almost 30 courses in the area that I'm interested in. So I have friends that took more, and we all got Erasmus scholarship. So that's one thing. Then
So you're trying to say that courses they should take online courses.
yeah, I mean it helped. Yeah, it helped, right?
Oh,
I
okay.
literally learned coding from online courses. That was where I started from. And right now I'm more of computer science guy than a typical engineering guy. So
Oh,
that's so coding it's I mean you could learn coding from anywhere, right? So I learned it from Coursera, I got certificate. I mean I also watch a lot of YouTube, but YouTube will not give you certificate, right? And
mhm.
apart from that, your research experience, you could involve in research in the area relevant to you. Like for me, what I did in my final year, I have my own thesis that I'm working with. Then under my supervisor, there are other people working on different theses. I and my friend, we decided to talk together. We assisted each other individually on our thesis, along with our supervisor. He was aware and all. And at the end, I could easily talk about his project because I assisted him. He could also talk about my project because he also assisted me. And this is like doing two projects in one, right? So which was helpful for me. Um, and also and also apart from the project, your internship, right? So if your university have like internship, um, do it in a good place. I mean, you have graduated. If most of the people here have graduated, so that
Some people are still in school,
okay,
so all in one, two in
So
one.
yeah, if you are staying in school, do your internship in a good place. Don't just say I'll just do anything. Do it in a good place. Then if you're out of school, try to work in a good place. If you don't like have access to work in a good place, do voluntary work. Some people will say, oh, how why will I be working for free? If you know what you want and it's in the area you want and you have spare time to do that, you could do that. If you don't have spare time, then do research related to that area. It also help, right? So yeah, that's different way to build your profile. And also your CV should be well formatted. Don't just, this thing takes time. Like I usually tell people, applying for scholarship is like a full-time job.
Yeah.
So I mean, that doesn't mean you should quit your job, right? But get ready to have sleepless nights after you come back from your job, because I was working and I did that. I mean, I was serving. So basically, you always, it's a whole lot of work to do, but the main thing is that you have to be determined to do it, know what you want and go towards it. I spend months writing my SOP. I spend months drafting my CV. Why? Because I want it to be well formatted. That's why when people give me an essay to review, the first thing I look at is the formatting, as something as minor as the arrangement of the date. Once I see your date is in different area, the first I'll be like, no, you can't do this. Your date have to be in the same format. You can't write October in full and the next October you cut short it. You don't do that. You have to. So that little details are very important. So you have to like be very specific. So that's just it.
Oh, thank you so much. That's a wonderful one. So, to everybody watching us, you just had our scholar Taufik said your project is very important. If you can take courses online, that can help boost your application. So, courses that would give you certificates, so you can attach those certificates to your CV. Then, if you have internship experience relevant to your field of the field that you're applying to, do that. Then your academic CV. So, my question goes to this aspect, talking about the CV. So the CV is different from the general CV that we use for general applications, right? So it
Yeah.
has to be for Europass. So are you saying now if it is not Europass, they would not accept it? Do you
Yeah, I
think?
mean it's even if it's not Europass, they will accept it, right? So Europass is a very popular CV, very common among the European. So what most program will tell you is that use Europass format. Europass format doesn't mean you must generate it from
From
Europass.
Europass?
It's
Okay.
just the format. And in Nigeria, our CV in general follow that format, which is arranging your work experience in reverse chronological order, right?
Mhm.
Starting from latest till the oldest, right? So that's the essence of the Europa CV. But people generally just use the Europa CV. And one advice I'll say is to have like a more formatted CV, and at the same time have like use something that they are used to is better. I highly recommend you make use of the Europa CV. But if you don't use the Europa CV, that doesn't mean it's automatic rejection. So
Okay.
when I was in my final year, I didn't use the Europa CV. I mean, I was rejected for sure, but at least my application was reviewed and I made it to the interview. So
Okay.
eventually I was not selected. So which means it doesn't matter.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, sir. So, for those that are listening to us, if you're applying for Erasmus, I would advise you go through the Europass CV, because this is a website. I also applied for the Erasmus scholarship. I got this joint intermass
Yeah,
program. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but like I remember then I actually like go to the website. So there's a website for this Europass of a thing, and you can always use that, or you can follow that format. You understand? So please make sure you are aware of this information. That is very, very important. Then another thing, did you mention about, did you say anything about essay? So there is an essay, right? Letter of
yeah,
motivation.
of motivation, right?
So for this letter of motivation, is there anything special about it? Do we have to talk about our research experience, or everything all in one? Or what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, letter of motivation is just still like your statement of purpose, right? So
Okay.
what I always say is w- know the program you're applying to very well. Follow instruction, right? So some program will give you prompt to follow. So from program we tell you that okay, make sure your statement of purpose has this, has that. You have to check for those prompts. So a situation whereby your program doesn't give you prompt, so you generally follow the normal statement of purpose format, right? You have your motivation, that is more or less like what motivated you to make you want to apply, where some people usually tell story that, oh, growing up here I have this experience. Then your second paragraph could be about your undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
There, if you have a very fancy CGPA, you can choose to mention it. Personally, I don't mention my CGPA. I instead mention my research, but it's not wrong to mention your CGPA. Some people will be like, don't mention your CGPA in SOP. I think personally, it's not wrong to mention it. There's no one hard way to it. If you don't have a good CGPA, but don't mention it. So then the second paragraph generally talk about your bachelor degree, your final year thesis, and the like. Then your third paragraph, you can talk about your work experience, if you did an internship or you are currently working. Then the next paragraph, you could talk about your volunteering activity. Then the next one, you could talk about why you're applying for the program. If the program has mobility, so Erasmus program, everybody will not go to the same country. So what I mean is that you and your mate that got the scholarship, the country you'll be going to depend, the same program, but the country you'll be going to depends on your specialization. So for my program, all of us, we went to the same country. We're all one, all true. But why some program, your first semester, you all can be together. But your second semester now, some people want to specialize in another field, they'll go to another country. Some people want to specialize in another field, they'll go to another country. So if your program is like that, in your essay, you have to justify why you are picking the mobility you are picking. Because during the application, they ask you that, okay, where will you want to do your third semester among the available mobility? So you have to justify that in your essay as well. Then your long-term goal, and then you close it. So I think that's pretty much a general format for any SOP.
All right. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about the academic excellence aspect. Somebody has a question, which I'm also going to buttress on that question. Does someone with a 3.5 to CGPA secure a scholarship? Can somebody with this scholarship secure a scholarship in Erasmus? So do you think it's just for first class students or second class, or like there is no limit so far you have certificate to back it up? What would you tell us? What would you say about this?
I mean, 3.52 over what? That's very important, right? Is it over 5 or over
I
4?
think it's out of 5.
Uh,
Kingsley, you can probably let us know, but I think let's say out of 5.
let's take the two scenario. If it's out of 4, it's fantastic. That's like a distinction. But if it's out of 5, that's like second class upper. In Nigeria, we say weak second class upper. So like, let's just give him second
So
class.
where does second class start from? It's
I think
3.0.
3.5. 3.5.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
0.5.
oh, so that's very close to 3 point to second lower. Okay, okay.
So yeah. So the thing is this, right? So scholarship application in general is a holistic review. So which means everything is important. Nobody will ever tell you CGPA is not important. It is important. However, that's not the only thing, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen people like my friend that I said got Erasmus from education. He graduated with a 2-1. I mean, I can't tell you his exact CGPA, but it was not up to 4 points.
Okay.
So, and he got the Erasmus scholarship. So basically what I'm trying to say is, it's not just about your CGPA. When you apply for scholarship, there are things you can change and
Yes.
there are things you cannot change.
Yeah.
Things that you cannot change it. Don't waste time on it. But things that you can change, do well and change them and do your best. If you don't have research experience, seek for research experience. There are things you can change. If you don't have work experience, seek for work experience. If you have to take online courses to learn things, take online courses to learn things. Volunteering activities, these are all things that you can use to uplift your profile. But don't just, your CGPA is something you cannot change. I've reviewed a lot of documents, and one thing I notice is that most people just feel like, oh, it's only people with first class that get scholarship. But the truth is, the reason why they feel this way is that based on the profile I have reviewed so far, I realized that even those with first class, they still have a better profile. They still went for that to build their profile even more. So which means if they rely on just their first class, they will not get it. When I was in my final year that I applied for a scholarship, I have a friend. He eventually finished from Erasmus as well. He also applied that year. He graduated with a very high CGPA, way higher than mine. He was rejected, and then someone else applied to that program in Nigeria that was selected, and the person graduated with a 2-1. We don't know the exact result of the person, but how we normally do in Erasmus is when you get an offer, you message the Erasmus Mundus Facebook page. So we saw the success story of the guy, and the guy graduated with a 2-1. And my friend was rejected with a very strong first class. So, which means it's not just about first class, but the following year he eventually got to that same program anyway. But then it's not just about the grade.
Okay, very good. So thank you. If I were you, Kingsley, I would go and work on things that I cannot change. This is not a you had your CGP already, so do not let this discourage you. This does not mean you cannot apply. So work on getting certificates, your statement of purpose, getting internship opportunities, working on projects, hands-on projects, and then you can always use this to support your application. So one thing I think I understand about this application thing is everything carried weight. So there is point for each aspect of this application. So you would not say because you have a low CGPA, you are not going to apply. No, that should not discourage you. Rather, you should also encourage you to also work on other aspects. What can I do right? So take away the mindset that, oh, this is what I have. Let that be on the side. And you work on other things that you can improve on, just like what he has mentioned. So thank you for that, sir. The next question, this person is asking that on the state on their website we can accept other tests. However, please note that we prioritize students with a strong command of the English language. Does this mean I can't choose my English language proficiency certificate from my university?
I mean, to be honest, the only person that can give you a direct answer is your program coordinator. So for Erasmus, you have what we call program coordinator. So I always advise people your first point of contact when you have like a program specific question is not the scholars, but your program coordinator. The reason is that scholars can only easily talk about the program that they applied to, not so any question that is specific to your program coordinator is usually the best person to ask. Like for this English test question, for example, some program does not require you that you must write TOEFL, right? Like the program I applied to. So if you really want to understand this question, you have to message your program coordinator because this can mean two things. So when he said we accept other tests, your English proficiency, he might be referring it as a test, the one you collect from your university. But the truth is, it's not a test, right? It's just a letter. So if he is sure that it's a letter, and what is actually requiring to is other tests, there are several other tests we have. We have Duolingo, we have PTE. Maybe that's what he's also referring to. So you really have to ask your program coordinator for clarification.
Okay, thank you so much. So, additional, please send a message as soon as possible to the guidance coordinator of your program. Um, can one use the statement of results instead of certificate? I think that's possible.
Yes, I mean, you can use. I mean, your statement of result is just like your certificate, right?
Yeah.
When it's not ready. So yeah.
Yeah, you can use this because sometimes you might be in school. People that are still in universities apply for this program. So you can use it. Yeah.
Even in my final year, I applied and I didn't have statement of result, right? So I just collected the letter that said I'm in my final year and I'll graduate at this also date, and it was good. So yeah.
Yeah. You guys are the scholars that usually apply for scholarship right from undergraduate. That's very good.
Yeah,
And
I
I,
I I think I'm just like very fortunate to know about scholarship early enough because of the kind of people I interact with. I mean, you graduated from Unilorry, so you know there's what called Unilorry scholar, right?
yeah.
So in
Yeah, his network's kind of bad.
all the scholars.
Yeah. Your network is a bit fluctuating, but um so while waiting for Scholar Taufik, what I'm just gonna say is if you are in your final year, try start application. Yeah. Can you hear us now? Your network is
I can hear.
okay,
I can,
go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Very clear now. Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but
All right.
what I was basically saying is, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So there was a point when I was in my second year. So I was living with university scholars that were like in their final year. So we became friends. And when I was in my third year, some of them already graduated, they got scholarships. So since we're talking, so I get to know about scholarship in my third year. So I already know what I have to do and all. So by the time I was graduating, I already have a lot of I already have a lot of things. In fact, it's I was the one that decided to go for Erasmus. I also got 2 PhD offers in US back then when I graduated. So I was already used to the system already. So yeah.
Interesting. That's good to know. I think that's a good thing about information, knowing about this thing as soon as possible. Before you know, you're out of you get it
Yeah.
is out of the application pool. And because that's yeah, that's it. So somebody is asking, can what should be in a motivation video? Do they ask for motivation video?
Yeah, I mean, some programs do, but I mean, very few programs do ask for motivation video. So, in fact, sometimes when a program asks for motivation video, they might not even bother to ask for a letter of motivation anymore. It's a way for them to also assess your English proficiency. Since you are saying, oh, you can speak English, you are getting a fancy letter from your school. So the motivation, so it's still the same thing that is in your letter of motivation, right? But if a program asks you for letter of motivation, you don't want to repeat word for word what is already in the letter of motivation as if you memorize it. But what you'll be talking about is still the same thing that is in your letter of motivation. The essence is to check your English prowess, and at the same time, you should be creative about it, right? So don't just put the camera to yourself and then talk for 2 minutes and that's it. You you do that for sure. Then
Yeah.
now go and edit the video. Add some pictures, some videos, like just be creative about it. That's the most important thing. But basically what you say is still what is in your letter of motivation.
All right, thank you. So I would just also say this that if you are doing a video, make sure you are very bold. Don't be shy. If you are not at least it's a video now, nobody is seeing you. So if you want to be alone in the room, stay alone in the room. Make sure you are very, very bold and know what you're saying and don't let there be a don't let there be any sign of you being afraid or not being confident in yourself. So we have more questions. I'm sorry, we are running out of time, but Claire, please, if you would give room, we should take more questions. So there's this person that
Okay.
yeah. Um, can we apply as dependent?
I mean, do you mean the visa or the scholarship? I'm confused.
Bidemi, you can ask your question. You can refresh your question. Maybe they mean can
I
okay
mean,
like
as dependent is like let's say the wife or the husband of the scholarship holder. So is
yeah.
the person applying for to visa. So that have to be clarified, right?
Please go ahead and ask that question very well. Like rephrase the question. I mean, so the next one, can I use academics US academic CV to apply, or it must be in Europa CV? Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we answered that question, right? Preferably use a Europa CV. If
Europa
you use US academic CV, it also work, but don't do that. I
CV.
strongly advise you to use Europa CV.
Because it has its own format. Go to the Europass website. It won't take you time. This is even much easier because all you need to do is just input your details and it will generate it for you.
Yeah.
I was reviewing this CV, so I want to go ask. Like, I think there is always a passport section in that place, right? That CV. Is that
The Euro,
true?
yeah, but it's optional. You can choose
Okay.
to put it. So for me, I put mine, but a lot of my friends did not put theirs and they still got the offer. So personally, I would advise you not to even put your passport because I mean, passport usually also bring like a form of unforeseen biasness because we are all human. Seeing somebody's face alone might infer good or bad, who knows? So I mean,
Yeah.
but for me, I put it, and I know people that put it that got it, and at the same time, I know people that didn't put it. So it's an optional thing. The
Yeah. So
same thing, the CV also have a section for about me, so it's also optional. For the about me, I put it and I got the offer. I have friends that did not put it and they also got the offer. So it's up. There's no one way to it, right? So
okay.
yeah.
Good to know that. That's a good one to know. So does this scholarship apply to institutions that do direct PhD after a first degree?
Sorry.
Like, is Erasmus for institutions that do direct PhD? Do they take students for PhD? I don't think Erasmus is just for masters,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Like what I'm trying to understand is, first degree, the person is talking about bachelor's.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to ask if you can apply directly for a PhD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
using Erasmus scholarship.
Erasmus, no, Erasmus is master's. So we have a version of Erasmus called Marie Curie Scholarship. So Marie Curie Scholarship is for PhD, but it has a requirement that you already have a master's. So Europe is not like US, right? So to do a PhD in Europe, you generally need a master's. That's why their PhD is 3 years, and when you're admitted, you're automatically a PhD candidate. Unlike in US, that it takes you in your third year before you become a candidate. So yeah, different country, different rule. So, but now there are some program in Europe that will admit you directly to their PhD, but you use your first year doing some preliminary stuff before you start your actual PhD. So yeah, but you can't just apply for PhD directly.
All right. That's good to know. Thank you so much for that. So right now, I know you're done with the program, and you're currently in the US right now doing your PhD program. Um, so the old Erasmus during your Erasmus program, do you think there are any challenges that you face that you think people need to know about, and they have to be aware that, oh yes, you're going to face this challenge, so get ready for this? If you mind
Yeah,
sharing.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think personally, people. I mean, they are part of scholarship that we scholar generally talk about. That sorry, they are part of scholarship that we scholar generally don't talk about, which actually need to be talked about. The truth is that people know the fancy side of scholarship. So, but it's not always that fancy as we are seeing it. I mean, it's don't get me wrong. It's like it's not a decision that you regret, but
Yeah.
you have to work a lot. So
Okay.
see, I have a lot of friends that sometimes when we talk, they literally tell me that see, the reason why they still have enough motivation to continue their program is because they are getting the stipend, because the coursework is just too much. Like you don't have time for, like, I have a situation whereby we have scholars that it was difficult for them to keep up communication with their girlfriend in Nigeria and the like, because they are very busy and
Yeah.
all. So it becomes your life. You have a lot of work to do. That's one thing, right? So you have to be sure that you really like the program you are going for and be ready to work hard, because there are a lot of work. Then also for Erasmus specifically, when you just one thing that excites people is the fact that, oh, you'll be traveling to different country. But trust me, when you start your Erasmus or when you finish your Erasmus, if they ask you one of the things you probably don't fancy much about the program, you say the fact that you have to be traveling about. But when you want to go, that's the what you feel like, oh, I'll be going to different country. But it's not usually that rosy. The reason is simple. You generally, when you travel to a new country, you use the first few months to try to settle down.
To
So
get
just
you.
imagine after 6 months that you have already settled in that country, you
Oh
have
my
to move.
God.
So
Yeah.
when you are moving, you have to look for a new accommodation. You have to look for, and looking for accommodation is very exhausting. Then when you finally get accommodation, you have to pay a lot of money, deposit, this, that. Then you finally move. Then after 6 months again, you have to move again. So it's usually not funny. You won't be able to settle down. Unlike, like, there's clear difference between some of my friends that did their masters in France for like they spent the whole 2 years doing it in a university in France, and we that were traveling about. Because for we are not, you won't be so organized per se. Like you don't just fall in love with a particular city because after 6 months you leave. So yeah, so that traveling part too might look very rosy, but at the same time it's also very tricky, but it's very fun. The memory is unique and yeah, and lovely, but it comes with its challenges as well.
Yeah, so yes, thank you for sharing that with us. So I want everybody to understand that, of course, just like you said, sometimes some set of it's the stipend that keeps some people going on, and the fear of probably not going back to just without going with nothing, going back home with nothing. You have to work hard. You have to have this mindset that you're coming to work hard. You're not coming here to sleep or start jumping on flight and just enjoying. Of course, there will be break, but you're going to work hard, and you will be stressed, so get ready to that. This is not to scare you or anything, but just to prepare your mind. If there's anything you can do to just improve yourself, if you're not this kind of person that can endure stress. Get ready. Well, I think most of us from Africa, we are always very ready. We are very, very rigorous. We are built to adapt stress and all. So yes,
Yeah,
and that you talk about this movement of a thing, I think it can be challenging. Talking about you trying to get used to the environment where you can buy stuff, then eventually you have to go to a new place and you have to start looking for where to and get used to the environment. But I think we can just overlook that aspect and just get the scholarship and that will be fine. Yeah,
yeah.
somebody yes, before we are rounding off, but yes. So Scholar Tafik also has a YouTube channel. You guys can follow him on LinkedIn. So if you don't mind, you can help us paste your name, your LinkedIn, your full name or link. You can share it with me. I'll drop it on the comment section and your YouTube link as well. So you guys should please subscribe and stay tuned. There are a lot of information. He shares a lot of like information that will benefit you guys. So you should check that out and connect with him on LinkedIn as well. It's really because when I saw come across your profile on LinkedIn, I was like, wow, this is a very, very good insight. And I think a lot of people will benefit from that. And thank you so much for doing that as well. Because this is just a way to encourage people and to help people get awareness because most people are not aware about these opportunities. And some people that are aware, they don't even know what to do. So thank you for doing that for us. I think that is all the questions that we're going to take today. But my final question for you, Sarah, if there is any advice you're going to give to somebody, yes, I know you're in the US right now, and I don't want us to go into that side. Today is just for Erasmus. Maybe some other time we have you for US representatives. But if there is any advice you would like to give to somebody that is planning to go through the route that you went through, what advice will you give to the person? Like a general advice to just leave us with that. Thank you.
Uh, okay. I mean, if you wanna go for the Erasmus scholarship, I think I mean for sure your life will not remain the same. It's a life transforming experience, and it's something I'm very grateful for. So I absolutely advise anybody to apply for it for sure. And if you eventually got the Erasmus scholarship, don't try to start like maybe studying the curriculum before you resume. Spend time with your family because you'll be going away for a while. So use that time to make good memory with your family. It's very important so that you won't get to a new country when you are bored. You start thinking about things you didn't do. You just leave the book at that moment for Brooklyn and just focus on your family, enjoy the time you have because you might be spending the next 1 or 2 years not going home. That's very important. And that's one challenge we face with the outside. Aside the fact that you are getting money, you are getting stipend, you are not with your family, right? So you are gonna miss them for sure. So sometimes just video call is not enough. So that's why. Yeah. Then secondly, have good connection with people. I mean, like your fellow scholars, because at the end, they are most likely people you can easily get to see, people you can easily chat with, people that can easily relate with a lot of things. So make sure you have a lot of friends. And also, if you apply for scholarship, one general advice I always give people is whatever you do, just make sure that whatever you do, just make sure you don't go on the solo mission. So when I say solo mission, I simply mean that don't apply for the scholarship. Don't do it alone, all by yourself. I don't know if you get it.
Great.
Have join groups, join scholarship group because there are a lot of information you get from there. Because everything about scholarship is all about information. I have a friend 2 years ago that eventually did his masters in France. So we all applied for scholarship together. He was rejected in all his applications. So we are both staying in Abuja then. And then he came across one scholarship from a group. It's not a popular scholarship in France. And then we saw the scholarship like, oh, this scholarship is in our field of study. We both we checked the essay together. We submitted together 2 weeks after he got an offer. And we eventually traveled to France together. Now he's done with his masters and he continued his PhD in the same school in France. So, and if he didn't join that group, he might not have access to that. And the same way, it's also a way to reduce potential cost, right? Even if you're applying to US application fee waiver and all, joining groups will help you get a lot of information to get webinar and all. There are a lot of resources available, like like Scholar said earlier, I also have a YouTube channel where I post resources. So if you want like a template of Erasmus Mundus scholarship, I have it. You can download it from my channel as well. I'll drop the link before the
You
meeting.
should. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you can download it from there as well. You could see a template. The good thing is, for those of you asking about Europass, if you download the template that I use, you can convert it to Word and just edit it to suit what you want. If so, you can just take your USCV and then you just paste it on the format, and you're also good to go. So yeah, that will also work for you probably. So yeah, basically, I think that's everything. Seek the right connection. Don't do things alone by yourself. Spend time with your family. If you eventually get the scholarship, you're about to go in a whole new ride.
Yeah, thank you. That is wonderful because I think many people don't say this, and it's a good thing to know that if you know that you'll be going through the scholarship route or you'll be leaving your home country soon, try and get time to spend with your family. So yes, this is Scholar Taufik link. You guys can click that directly. Please subscribe and stay tuned for updates. You can watch the videos where he has uploaded talking about all these things. I can tell you they are very, very helpful. I watched some, so yes, I can tell you, and I've checked some with some certain people. If that was why I was like, oh, let me bring him here so he can talk to us about this Erasmus scholarship. So thank you so much, sir. That was really wonderful. You guys have heard all what you said. Try and connect with people. So, and as well, I always tell people just what you've mentioned. I'm repeating, but just buttressing it. When you are like doing the scholarship thing, you don't do it by yourself. You don't even have to. Don't say, oh, you don't want people to know you're applying. You don't know. But please, like, you have to connect with people because they will give you information. That is like the testament to what worked for me. I connected with Scholar Joseph, who actually like brought us together, and that was how we got information. And before you know, we got this application, and yes, we applied. He did Erasmus. I came to the US. So, but yes, I'm not saying I used to tell people that it's not a must you go directly to the US. From look at you, you went to Europe first, you've traveled around like to about 10 countries in Europe, and now you're in the US doing your PhD. So don't say, oh, it's just US I want to apply to. It's just US I want to apply to US or nothing. You never can tell. Maybe it's this Erasmus, and then from there you come to the US. So just don't waste your time just waiting for just applying only to the US because of course you can get the US. I'm not saying you would not, but spread your applications, apply, connect with people, and I'm sure you're gonna get results. So thank you all.
Even I think just a little bit addition, like where you go first, the country you go first doesn't matter, because at the end there are several rules. If you know Olumiwa, for example, he started from South Korea. I have a
Yeah,
friend started from Taiwan. He's currently in US doing his PhD. So I have a friend that started from like different places. I have a friend that started from Kazakhstan. He's now in US. So there are different roads to go. It's not a must that your starting point has to be US, right? And funny enough, back then I had the opportunity to come to US, but I always feel like the opportunity in US is so much that it was the list of my worry. I always knew that I would still get an offer to US, because then I was like, I wanna be in US, but if I can get an offer in US with my bachelor degree, then with Erasmus Master, I'll even get into a top school. And
yeah.
eventually I got into a top school that when I was applying, it was number one in the world in my program. So
Wow.
so yeah, which is something very good, right? So at the end, it doesn't matter, you must like say, oh, I have to go to this country. If it's not this country, it's nothing, right? So except you have another aim for sure. But you can always, there are several routes to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, somebody is asking a question. We already talked about this. You already talked about you taking certifications, courses. So, this section is being recorded, so it will be posted on the YouTube channel. You can always find this again. So we don't waste so much time. Thank you all for joining us today. I really appreciate everybody, and a special thanks to our speaker. We really appreciate you for taking your time to be here. And yes, you guys, thank you for joining. We'll continue this live section again, talking about scholarship opportunities. If you're yet to subscribe, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, share with your friends, tell your colleagues. And just like we said, you can't do this all by yourself. bring people, take join groups, and stay tuned for more information. So that will be the end of today's session. Yes, they are saying thank you, sir. Thank you so much,
Uh,
sir. You people can say thank you by subscribing to the channel and by connecting. But yeah, so that is the way I think you can say thank you. Go to the link and subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, everybody.